Oops. What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 59 of Unfiltered. I'm your host, ChanManV. Got a full house here. Destiny, Cody, Richard Lewis, and Kennigit. Kennigit, for those you don't know, is the project manager for ESL One and WCS for ESL. So, quick introduction there, and
no introductions, Chris. Like, first of all, I need to ascertain: is this the real Chris that's talking, or is this one of his alternate identities? What's your date of birth?
It's 01/01/1970.
Definitely isn't.
I just want to let everyone know that even though I agree with the majority of what's going to be said today, I'm going to be playing devil's advocate all day so that this doesn't turn into an enormous fucking circle jerk, because nobody wants that, right?
All right, so topics. Not too much going on. This might be a short
show.
Can we
stop a second? Can we first explain that bottle that Cody has?
40 ounces for 40 alts, baby. 1 ounce for all.
That is so good, dude. That is so good. Oh, man. All right, so lots of topics today. Yesterday was quite an eventful day, to say the least. We'll be talking about Reddit, of course. Myself, Slasher on Gamers, followed by some Clauf talk, some ESL One, Destiny's tournament, maybe some other SE2 news also. And then at the end, we'll do some Q&A. You guys got lots of questions that I'll probably have to answer for once. Actually, questions for me for once on this show. It's like amazing. And then we'll finish out with shout-outs as usual. But all right, let's talk Reddit, guys. How about that? How about that great website, that wonderful website that we all
I gotta say, Chris, like, I did like as well, like, in the rehearsal to the show, you were like saying, does everybody know tonight's topics? Like, as if you're the fucking topic, you asshole. Like, generally, like, how can we forget this? So, look, I think the first thing that everyone wants is for, like, me in particular to give you a good grilling, and no doubt Steven will do the same as well. But, I mean, 40 alternate accounts. Were you and Kim Rom having a competition?
Oh, God.
Oh, Jesus.
I got to ask.
Actually, he had 42, right? He had 40 also, right?
Well, I don't know. You guys drew up the fucking agreement, the rules of the little wager.
We followed the same guide, apparently. We followed the same Reddit marketing guide, like, on the internet. We found it, some PDF that we shared to each other, and we ended up using the same thing, apparently.
Was the guide one of those websites you go to where it's like just scrolls and scrolls of like white page and black text with this is the perfect way to Reddit market, and you scroll down, you get to the bottom, and it's just you have to buy this guide for $15.99.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like the pickup artist ones. Yeah.
It was Yahoo Answers.
Pickup artist. What's wrong with the pickup artist ones? No. Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. It was $19.99.
I think he used Yahoo Answers, and it was the best answer.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You explained yourself in that 17-minute long extravaganza that you uploaded last night, and believe me, I've never seen anyone apologize so much for so little since Tiger Woods. I thought that was pretty good, but I think for the people that didn't watch that, and God knows why anyone would have watched it, perhaps you might want to just give a broad appraisal of why you did what you did, and look suitably contrite for the people that are here to see me crucify you.
Well, I mean, okay, so if you didn't watch the video, basically, the reason I did it is mostly it was just to figure out the most, what's the best way to put it? The best way to get you guys to get, just to see my content, and just at least give the content a chance. Not so much like it's a video and I want to just get views and monetize the views. I mean, the truth of the matter is that, like, I wasn't making any money, like, from any of this for a long time. Like, not even until, like, semi-recently, quite honestly. And if anything, I was losing money on it. Like, the first year I did Pro Corner, I think I spent, like, $6,000-$7,000. And the way I warranted doing that is because, like, I could have spent $6,000 or $7,000 doing a different hobby, like playing golf or something like that, which I was doing at the time. Or I could spend it doing this thing that I really love and I'm passionate about, StarCraft 2. So the reason I did it is because, like, I'm making content, and starting off, it was kind of low production, but people were telling me, hey, like, this content's pretty good, and it's kind of like Mr. Bitter stuff. and you just need more folks to, get a chance to see it. So that's kind of what made me think a little bit about just some of the Reddit marketing stuff that I had, learned in the past, and just guerrilla marketing and that sort of thing. And this whole alt kind of thing was one thing to do it, just to kind of get your Reddit thread on the front page, just at the bottom. And my strategy was just get it on the bottom of the front page, and then just let you guys give it a chance. And if you guys upvote it, then it stays on the front page. If it doesn't, then it falls off immediately, or just like maybe an hour.
Were you aware of the algorithmic importance of those first 10 votes?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's just part of the Reddit, just kind of.
Because I mean, like, there was one fucking, I'm loath to use the term retard, as I think it's an insult to retards, but there was a moderator who was just not shutting up in the StarCraft sub the other day, who was saying that, like, to basically fix the damage you did, you would need 200 downvotes.
No. So let me explain that. So, one of the things that came into being intrigued by this whole Reddit thing, and like really studying just how it worked in our StarCraft and just other Reddit subreddits that I actually participate in, was actually figuring out how many upvotes it takes just to get on the front page. And on StarCraft, even at its highest point, it was really easy to get on the front page. It took like 5 upvotes or something like that. Today, it takes like 2 or 3 upvotes, like after you post, to get on like number 25, number 23, whatever that number is. And so I think that person's thinking that I use like all 40 just to like up these things, and it takes like 200 upvotes, which I don't think it takes 200, honestly, because how many times do you see a 0 article on the top 25? Like, nobody ever sees that, right? But it's not like I was doing it 40 straight times and then just doing that sort of thing. I mean, it wasn't that. It was just that I was just trying to get it to the bottom, give it a chance. You guys, at least some impressions. Maybe it's like 500 impressions, or maybe even a little bit more than that, and see if people will upvote it.
And the last question, I feel community obligated to ask, and then we can just get on to bashing Reddit.
Yeah.
Which is what we all want to do, I'm pretty sure. Did you ever use those alts to downvote competitors, Chris? Be honest.
I mean, it's been 3 years using these things, so I mean
that is not a definitive no.
No. I'm saying
I fucking vouched for you, bro.
No. What I'm saying is that I'm sure I've downvoted something along the way, and competitors I never did this in for the sake of downloading competitors, because I never really thought of other content makers as competitors, because there's plenty of room for just other people making content. In StarCraft, I mean, like who's my competitor in StarCraft? Everybody else is doing their own thing. No, I'm not saying.
Look at you.
No, I'm saying that like State of the Game was way bigger than me. Like, who's my competitor when I'm getting into this? Like, there's nobody. So, doing this had nothing to do with competitors or anything like that. It was always just to give a chance.
Who did you downvote?
Okay, so wait,
I don't even remember. That's what I'm trying to tell you, Richard.
Wait, let me rephrase the question. Was there ever a time period in the past where your accounts where you did 30 to 40 downvotes on somebody else's piece of content?
I don't think I ever did anything like that.
You don't think?
I don't remember ever doing anything like that.
Yeah. That's like Ronald Reagan when he sold.
No, I'm serious. I'm just saying.
He sat there and said, "I don't recall."
I'm serious.
Like,
I don't.
Fair enough. He did actually have Alzheimer's. But
Cody, do you remember when Anthony Weiner's dick pics came out, and they were like, "Have you done this before?" He's like, "I don't have any recollection of doing that before." And then the next day, all those pictures came out again. I think you have to give like a definitive no, I've never done that, and I would never think of doing that.
I would say no, never done that. I mean, like all 40 of them, I've never done that. Have I used maybe 1 or 2? I would have to say maybe I've done it like just one, just a few downvotes somewhere along the line these 3
How did you
years.
feel afterwards?
I just can't. I don't even know. Oh my god, I don't. Like
Stop
I said,
asking LCS questions, Cody. Get the fuck out.
Honestly, like I don't remember doing it. I mean, I can be honest and tell you that I don't remember doing it. Can I say that I've never done it? I mean, there's chances are I've probably downloaded. I mean, I know I've probably downloaded like comments before. I mean, I've downloaded comments with just my own personal account, so I wouldn't doubt if I downloaded a comment before. But the actual threads itself, I mean, like purposely doing that, like I can't recollect doing that, honestly.
All right, we got.
It's been a long time. It's been like 3 years of this kind of stuff, and just to explain to you, because for the folks that didn't see the video, I just want to make sure that people know that I'm explaining to you things that this kind of thing, because trying to tell you, like as a content producer, as I'm not the only one too. There are a lot of other content producers that have done different techniques too. But as a content producer, it's hard to get your stuff noticed. And I want to clarify some of the things that were said in the comments, which were a lot of people were saying like, I cheated and I was basically taking somebody's potential opportunity to do it. And to some degree, I guess, like there is some truth to that. But, when it comes to it, down to it, you can downvote the stuff and it would fall off the Reddit like immediately. And it was only like a few, again, like if it wasn't worthy of being on there, it would drop off like within 30 to 60 minutes of being on there. And then not to mention, I never overlapped my shows. This show content is completely different than other stuff. So, like actually taking an opportunity for somebody who might have been doing better content, particularly show content, I just don't see that. I don't see that happening. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys feel that way? Do you guys think I took opportunity from other folks?
I don't buy that. I don't buy that
for
a
just,
second
either.
But
I
you're right, Cody. Sorry, go on. I've talked loads. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I don't think you were out there being malicious, trying to slit the throat of your competitors. You don't strike me as that person. I thought you
I
were
just
being
never look at it as competitors.
uncharacteristically stupid for how smart I think you are. But other than that, I think.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah, I agree with
look,
that.
you got to look at it this way, right? Like, and I've had this argument today on Reddit. Now we all know what a subreddit front page looks like, and probably 5-10% of it is actually. I mean, now, especially now that on gamers are banned. But 5-10% of it isn't content. It's here's a meme or hey, I just got from bronze to silver. I just want to tell somebody it's fluff. It's ephemeral bullshit. Like which totally fits how Reddit works because it's here today and it's gone tomorrow. But like the idea that you leapfrogging a meme or a photo of a cat or something is taking money and like you've got a Hoover and you've just put it in their pocket and you're sucking all the fucking dollars. That isn't happening. If it was all content creators on a front page, I think even then you struggle to make an argument because first of all the presumption is that those content creators have done the same. Everyone's had that friend's 10 vote head start, right? I mean, everybody does it. I don't care if they say they don't.
Some people don't. I mean, there's some naturally viral stuff like the Carbot stuff and music and that type of content. That's kind of naturally viral.
But fair enough. But
I think the Reddit argument would be that you, as an actor in that system, shouldn't be able to determine whether a stupid meme or a guy saying, "Hey, I got to Silver League this week" is better or worse than ChanMan's content. I'm
going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to be the guy that gets the death threats from this show. I'm going to say Chris's content absolutely is. Absolutely.
Right, but I mean,
but you have to keep in mind that what you're doing essentially
would agree with that.
Well, it's not a matter of whether or not you agree with that. It's a matter of the fact that what you have then is a small group of people determining which content the large majority of people see.
Yeah, we call them moderators.
To the idea of, no, moderators aren't supposed to do that though. On Reddit.
Yeah, but they do that. That's the point. I mean, that's a whole other argument.
I mean, that's a whole other argument. Yeah,
we'll get to it.
But the idea behind the upvote downvote system is that the community decides what they want to see on the front page. When you have one or two people circumventing that via their own upvoting bots, what you're essentially doing is you're disingenuously presenting the front page as something the community wants to see, when in reality it's been doctored by a couple people. That's the Reddit argument against.
You are the Koch brothers of esports, ChanMan.
The what brothers?
Yeah, the Koch brothers. Yeah. Now look, here's what
I mean. See, again, like I feel like, I mean, it's still definitely in the wrong category, but I still think there's a difference between like being on there for like an hour and then just seeing what happens, giving it a chance, versus like me pushing it to like top 10, which. I think I had an idea of what that could be
difference. Too. I mean, no, there's definitely a difference.
Because that's like additional 6 hours. That's like an additional 6 hours.
Yeah, but I mean, like you're talking about like degrees. Like me, like punching Nathan in the face wouldn't be as bad as me running him over.
Right.
But I mean, like both are still like. I mean, you're talking about like degrees of like wrongness there. I mean, it's not really relevant, I don't think. But yeah, sure. I mean, obviously that would be worse.
You're in good company though. Let's contrast what you did with your fellow band brothers. All right,
Well,
Right,
so
exactly what I want to
let's-
do. So let's compare your case to what On Gamers were doing, which
Wait,
was
no.
Well, let me make sure I'm
We
clear.
should talk about
Let me
the
make sure
issues
I'm-
separately. You don't
yeah,
want to
yeah.
get into
Let
like a
me make
comparison.
sure
Like,
I'm.
these
You know,
guys did
we're done
something
with that.
first, so it means that this is okay, or they did something
No,
not.
no. I'm not saying right. Okay, what I'm saying is that there's okay. You just said there's degrees of wrongness. Yes. You
Yeah,
did.
Yeah,
you
but I
did
said it's
say that.
irrelevant. I said it doesn't matter. I mean, like I said, if I were to punch my kid in the face, I would never. And somebody were to say like, "Hey, you punched me," I would never go like, "Well, at least I didn't run him over in my car or stab him to death." You know, like there's it doesn't. It's not really relevant. It's like okay, but I mean, like, what is that? You know,
Well,
I don't think it should be like
no,
a context.
I think if you did do those things, you see what you're talking about is as if there's like one blanket punishment for all wrongdoing, which of course isn't accurate at all. You know, so if you punch a kid in the face, actually, and you know, my girlfriend's a social worker who works in child protection, you'd be amazed. Like most parents, you know, they don't even go to jail. They don't even have to attend a sensitivity workshop. Certainly in the UK, they have a dedicated social worker just come along and check for bruises once a week. It's farcical. It's ridiculous. If you ran your kid over, I think you probably face some jail time. And this is what I mean. Chris has been punished. He's been banned for life from Reddit. Okay, that's cool. But the community are also looking to demonize him and effectively strip him of his livelihood based on what he did was so, morally abhorrent. Okay, so let's explore that. And I think the best way to explore it is with a direct comparison to On Gamers, which, interestingly enough, the community have been a bit more vocal in supporting, right? So this is why I wanted to bring this point up, Stephen. Hopefully you'll...
Sure, and it's a good point to bring up. Real fast, though, just a quick correction.
Yeah, of
ChanMan's
course.
punishment was not as bad as On Gamers, because while ChanMan has been banned from Reddit, On Gamers has been blacklisted from Reddit, such
that
as
is-
like the domain can't be posted. So, but yeah, okay.
That is a good point, and I think
Well, you have to
worth
remember
mentioning-
it's a second offense too for those guys. So it's
and it varies from community to
it's
community.
different.
Dota
Yeah.
was going nuts yesterday, I think, just at the stupidity. And wasn't League of Legends pretty? League of Legends had a huge 1.5K post about it, as League of Legends tends to do about everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt
Isn't that
bad for
like a medium
Cyborg Mad
tier
though,
threat?
man.
Well, I want to clarify something too, because a lot of people thought, I've been shadow banned for a few weeks now, right? And I think a
Yeah,
lot
you
of,
little inks, and
no,
you
no.
lied to us
And
about
yeah,
it.
so a lot of people
I know
were
you could have got
wondering,
me
like,
wrapped up in this shit, man.
yeah, so a lot of people were thinking that I knew exactly, like I was just hiding this, just like not, like I was banned, and I was just basically telling you guys I was banned, but I'm not telling you why I was banned. And I said that it was right, it was like deserved, because I think there were two things I was like two of those rules that I was probably that I was overstepping, which was this all thing, of course, and then the posting, the 9-to-1 ratio posting thing too. Also, like I was definitely not falling into that category. So either of those things was probably the reason I got banned, but I didn't know exactly why, and I didn't know exactly why until you guys found out, quite honestly. So that that was kind of the explanation of that too. So just kind of answering some questions I saw on the Reddit thread last night too.
Yeah. So look, I mean, what I want to kind of look at it here is, I mean, again, there's degrees, and I think some content creators, not you, by the way, Chris, have been treated quite harshly and have been banned unfairly. Jack Attack,
Yeah.
was
Sure,
shadow banned.
absolutely.
He's overturned that ban now. I mean, I thought that was absolute bullshit, and we'll talk about that later on. Now, then this is why I want to introduce the On Gamers thing at this segment, because I want to explore the degrees in which you game Reddit and what the rewards are and why people do it. Now, I know this show here, Unfiltered, probably is because I'm on it, is a fucking lost leader for you. It makes no fucking money. I have even probably
Lost
detracted
leader.
from Steven's mojo, and made this like it literally is a lost leader. We don't monetize it, we do it, and people watch it, and it's not really, we sat there when you were drunk, Chris. In Sweden, talking about what the fuck are we gonna do about
of course,
Unfiltered,
there's
man?
like tiny bit of revenue. I mean, of course,
No,
there's
no,
like
no, come on, let's just
some
be honest. It's
dollars
Unfiltered.
being
Let's just
made.
be honest, right? This
It's like-
this is probably the least successful show in your canon, your body of work, and I think it's the best, right? So there you go. And I'm not just saying that 'cause I'm on it, right? But this makes no money for you. It's a lost leader. Let's establish that fact. So I have no issue with you maybe doing a bit of jiggery pokery to get it on the front page and maybe change that fact, because I believe in the content. I believe in the message. Now, let's compare that to what On Gamers were doing. Now, On Gamers, the first time around, their editor, Kim Rom, had 40 accounts, like, much like yourself, which is why I made the joke at the start. And what he would do is serially upvote the content that they submitted to Reddit. And I'm not condemning him for this, by the way. This hasn't been, and I think that's a point I want to make. I'm not condemning him, and I'll come to that later. But this is what was happening. These are the facts. So, if even with those 40 upvotes, a piece didn't take off on Reddit, they'd delete it and they'd resubmit it later. They had their network of staff. They were coordinating upvoting, and that was happening. Okay, so the first time around that they get called out for that, you would say, tut tut, silly boys, right? And they got a site-wide ban. And why is that? Because they are making money. I mean, they've got the resources behind them. They've got CBSI behind them, and they're putting out so much content every day that 5 or 6 of their pieces are on the front page of every esports subreddit. And they're making, not bank. I wouldn't say they're turning a profit. I think that would be naive, but they're certainly making more money than Mr. Humble, Christopher Chan over here. So they get their warning. They go through the requisite hoops, and they vow this will never happen again on our watch. We have educated our staff about the rules of Reddit. And it's never gonna happen again. So then what they start doing, because they think, well, fuck it, man, we're Teflon. We're Teflon. Nothing's gonna stick on us. We beat the system. We'll start messaging users, and we will say to them exactly what titles we want, when to upload it, how we want it done, blah, blah, blah. And they start doing that. This is a new way of doing it. And why you would use the one website that you're so dependent on, 80 to 90% of On-Gamer's traffic is from Reddit. Esports Express weren't lying. It wasn't an exaggeration. That is the figure. And no doubt someone will call and tell me, how would you know? Well, yeah, how indeed. So they have then at that point done that because they think we're not going to get banned again. They honestly think they're above the rules, right? So they've done that, and it's so stupid and dumb. I can't even believe they've done it. It's beyond a joke. So then they get banned again. And now they're in talks about who the fuck do we have to throw under the bus so we can get back on Reddit and get our sweet 80 to 90% traffic back. Now, you tell me, which person should we be crucifying? Because I see a lot of people arguing about the good content On-Gamers have done. And they're right. On-Gamers do good content. I've sat on this show many a time and talked about how they are the pinnacle of esports journalism, for good or ill. Nobody really touches them in terms of the content they put out for frequency, production values, etc. Yeah, everyone wants to nail Chris, vanilla ChanMan, who does a few shows, to a fucking cross.
You're muted, dog. Or yeah.
Oh shit, dude, I'm muted. So okay, let me rehash that. So I want to make sure that
Got one of your alts to talk to you, bro.
exactly right. I want to make sure that everybody that's been sending me like encouraging words and sending me support really get recognized here, because I've gotten mostly that, quite honestly. Like in the Reddit threads, a little bit different, but in StarCraft 2, it's been mostly supportive things, and I just want to make sure that people know that I see all those things. I really appreciate all those things. In Hearthstone, it's a little bit different because Hearthstone's a newer community, and they haven't been through the esports ringer, I guess you could say, like the StarCraft 2 community has, and haven't really seen like this type of, I don't know, drama and that sort of bit. So they're reacting a lot more harshly.
It's fucking awesome.
I
love it, dog. It's like 2011 all over again. It's so fucking sick. They lose their shit about anything.
Yeah,
it's
so
awesome.
It's
Love you
it's
guys.
deserved. I'm not saying it's not deserved. It's definitely deserved, and it's just something I'll have to, work through, and that sort of bit. But
Chris,
anyways, continue. Yeah.
Chris, let me ask you the $64,000 question, since you obviously have a software development background, and you use those skills for the Reddit stuff and with the alternate accounts. I mean, I think the question that immediately pops into my mind, since we've talked about the fact that your motivation for this was you weren't making a lot of money on it. You weren't
No money.
getting the traction you wanted. So here's my question: have you done anything else that, if it came out into public, people would look down on you for? So like things like view botting,
Nope.
or so
That's a
promotion. 'Cause, I mean,
definitive-
that's a big one that goes
that's
on right now
for
on
sure,
Twitch, right?
I know
Have you,
for
have
a
you done
fact.
anything like that?
For sure.
Okay.
Not a 3-year type of thing. Never done anything else.
Okay.
So no botting, no none of that stuff. Like I have no knowledge of that stuff actually. So the whole view botting thing is like even a new thing when I heard Winter, just you guys talking
Okay.
about Winter and stuff like that. So I don't even have any knowledge of that stuff. And this whole software background, that really has nothing to do, honestly, with this Reddit thing. It was more like entrepreneurial background, just learning marketing and stuff like that. Guerrilla marketing and stuff like that is where.
Yeah, really
this type of
anyone
stuff-
anyone could do
It has
this.
nothing to do with so. I didn't write any scripts or bots or anything like that to do anything with these accounts. It was just all manual. I mean, it was because it was only like a few. You know what I mean? Like a few accounts.
Few 40.
I mean, a few accounts each time. So
I think that
yeah.
where does the line between few and several cut off, and then where does several and 40? Where's that?
Well, 40
line?
was over time. It was just.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it was spread out over time.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it wasn't like I made 40
Okay.
one day or something.
I don't think he made
Alright.
like he did 40 every single day.
Yeah, it was just over
That's a
time.
lot of
when I
legwork.
was, yeah. But, yeah, so anyways, James, no.
So we got
Okay.
we got
Sure.
ChanManV
I was
over
just putting
here.
it out there.
Yeah, no, that's the question everybody wants to ask. That's fair.
So you're banned from Reddit. I think this will
Yeah.
probably be the GG for you. This is on Gamer second time around the track. I know that last time it was like Chicken Little, the sky is falling over there, and I imagine it has to be the same this time. Because I've heard this. So last time their clever trick to get around this was they would just post the videos from their YouTube account to the League of Legends subreddits or the other subreddits, and that would still. It's not as good as getting traffic to the website, but it's you got to do what you got to do. And the YouTube account is banned now this time too. Can't send stuff to OnGamer's YouTube. So it's looking grim over there because it is a tremendous amount of their traffic. While I was there, it was it was never as high as 90, but it was between 70 and 80 was realistic, right? And I can't imagine since then that traffic habits have changed more than 10%, right? That would blow my mind if they did. So it's definitely a shit show over there right now for them. I bet. They're being pretty quiet about it when I try to hit people up, but
Well,
it's
Rod,
not a hot look.
hasn't Rod been, like, really ill lately? So
I know after MLG
bet.
Anaheim.
No, he was really sick. Like, they didn't have Live on 3 last week.
I
He was
bet.
Yeah. So Rod's
Okay,
getting a
maybe
lot of
that's the
shit
reason.
though.
Maybe that's the
It
reason.
was just
is he
interesting.
actually
That
sick?
post was like
Mm-hmm.
a
Oh, okay.
month old, wasn't it? The one that so the way this happened was I saw on the StarCraft subreddit someone posted 2 days ago that Rod had been shadow banned again. And then there was a post that was brought up from the fighting games subreddit like a month ago where he private messaged someone on Reddit, which is pretty dumb, asking for them to post this content from was it MLG? No. It was the ESGN just gonna pay back players. It's just shitty, man. There are a lot of full-time people over there that want to make that want to continue to work in esports. Cyborg Matt posted yesterday that like he hadn't been this sad in years. Just not
Oh,
indicative.
well, he said that? Wow.
Yeah, he tweeted that he hadn't been this sad in years.
So,
It's
okay, so
a
let's-
huge
so
deal.
let's talk-
To
so
me,
let's
it
talk about
seems
that.
like
So,
such a strategy problem. Like, so I'll give you an example. Like, I check GameTrailers.com every day, and that was one of the very first sites that I thought when I was ad blocking on AdBlock, because their content is just like, it's tier 1. It's so fucking good. It's really engaging, and they're, the shows they make are all, really good content. So I check it out a lot, and I don't think I've ever seen a link to Game Trailers. And, those guys are attached to MTV, I think, or Viacom. I think it's the same company.
Yeah,
And
I think
I guess they've
I
been
think
money.
Kennigit should shut his video off and just do voice, because the voice is like
am I
really
cutting
like
out?
in and out. Yeah.
Okay, I'll turn my video off.
I miss you, man. Get a handsome picture of him, Channing, man. I'll find you one while
Alright.
he talks.
All right, send me one.
All right.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's a strategy problem. Like, if you're relying on, I mean, I'm in an easy position, obviously, to criticize him for it. But if you rely on Reddit for 80 to 90% of your traffic, and you put the Reddit organization and the admins who say, you're going to have to fight against for your livelihood, it seems like a bad strategy, and that there should be some rethinking going on months ago regarding how they're doing content and how they're getting it out to people. Because how many On Gamers articles do I read per week that are really, really good? Well, I mean, during ESL One, of course, I watch all their videos, and
They're
when
all
there's a big
good,
event, I watch all their videos. But say during the week, there's usually one or two pieces where it's like, oh shit, this is like story of the week. I need to check this out, and I check them out, pretty regularly, once every day or two. But I think they need to focus more on what is getting people to come back to On Gamers, rather than just let us get this Reddit strategy going.
Well, they certainly need to do that now.
Okay, so
Does that make sense? Or is that too rambling?
There are two big problems with that, in my opinion. One is that what you describe is a monumental undertaking. Getting people to regularly visit your site or use, I mean, like, let's be real. What percentage of the internet do you think utilizes RSS feeds? I would be willing to guess less than 0.5% honestly knows how to use an RSS feed. So to get people to actually like refresh and visit your page like every single day, I think that's very, very difficult to do. I don't think there are very many pages on the internet, when you take into account how many are out there, that people actually do that with, And even if you were to somehow create a website that you were able to get like a loyal, dedicated fan base, to constantly visit, you'd still be missing out on a huge number of people that will only go to Reddit and won't be refreshing pages, So, like, I mean, while it's possible to do that, I think that the consumer landscape has changed like just a little bit, maybe compared to what it was like 5 to 10 years ago, where we have a lot of these like super centralized hubs of information where like everybody goes to Reddit to find stuff like, oh, like, have you heard about that? Yeah, check out that subreddit. Check out that subreddit. Go, the links are on the sidebar on that subreddit. I think that to some extent, Reddit has become so centralized that you kind of need to do it. Like, we talk about decentralizing, and you talk about like getting people to look at your stuff, on its own. Look what happens to tournaments that aren't hosted on Twitch. Even somebody as big as MLG has trouble driving viewers there. Or look at Azubu and the lack of viewers over there. Or this is even personal to you. Like 4 or 5 years ago, before Twitch was huge, Team Liquid used to be the central hub to all StarCraft content, and you couldn't. I think it was really hard to make a living if you weren't on Team Liquid's good side, like look at Combat
Yes.
X, for instance. Like, Combat X is somebody that could have been really popular or famous if StarCraft if the StarCraft subreddit would have been more popular, but since it was Team Liquid, which was the central viewer base at the time, and he wasn't on their good side, Team Liquid kind of nixed that career. Now you see the same thing happening with Twitch, where if you're not on Twitch, you're kind of fucked, and now you see a similar thing happening on Reddit, where if you're not on Reddit's good side, you're kind of fucked. So I mean, like, it's easy to talk about ways to circumvent that by like, oh, well, just get people to just visit your page, but that's really hard to do in practice, almost insurmountable. And even if you did do it in practice, you still wouldn't get the same viewership.
So
Yeah,
there's two different schools of thought. There's the Team Liquid / Valve style of organic growth, where there is no marketing strategy. Like, Team Liquid has never spent a single dollar advertising Team Liquid, and Valve has never spent. Well, sorry, I shouldn't say that. There's no, like, you don't see Dota 2 ads on TV or on the web. Their strategy has sort of been, the community will grow itself because of engaging content they create. But that takes a lot of time. And I mean, coming off of ESL One, we had this brand
That's
new
not even
product
fair.
where
It's not even
we
fair to
invested
say
quite a
that.
bit.
It's not even fair to say that just takes a lot of time. Team Liquid is almost 15 years old. Valve is probably just as
Right.
old, if not older. So I mean, like that would be like me telling somebody like, oh, if you want to be a popular streamer, we'll just put yourself out there
No.
every day. Like, you could never do
I know.
it the same way that I did it, because the
I
landscape has
know.
changed so much.
I hadn't finished.
Okay.
So the second school of thought is that if you want to go straight to market with a brand new product like ESL One we did, where there was no, we're selling an idea at the start, right? Like, we want to put a lot of people in here and it's going to be awesome. You have to get people to bite onto that, and the way you do it is through a really heavy marketing campaign that we did in internationally, yes, but heavily in Germany. And you touch a lot of people through TV and web and Twitch and all this stuff. So I get why, they were so aggressive about this, because they're a business and they're trying to get the profitability or sustainability very quickly. But I don't know. I can't believe that there's not a better strategy than let's try and game Reddit. I just don't buy it.
The
Well,
one thing
look, I think what people don't really understand is that people are saying, we need to have these better strategies than gaming Reddit. Well, unfortunately, Reddit's success in the marketplace is a given right now because what they did primarily was they came in and they catered to just how lazy this fucking internet generation actually is. And they did it in such a very clever way.
Every generation is just as bad. Please don't make this a generational problem.
I'm going to make it a generational problem because...
Every generation is just as shit as every other one.
No. I'm going to talk about this. I think this is fair enough. Maybe you might disagree by the end of my point. Whatever. But I think it's incredible, the sort of slovenly nature where we don't even want to browse anymore. Now, I've just got out of an editorial meeting where our editor is saying we all know no one clicks homepages anymore. That's a fact. No one clicks homepages anymore. Why did content aggregator sites become so popular? Because we wanted to, find all of the things that we enjoy reading about, whatever it is, in one place, apparently. This was, the idea of clicking on multiple websites was just too much. It was just too much for these people. They're having to move your wrist back and forth. God only knows how people can find the energy to do that. So aggregator sites rose. Reddit were great because they empowered the community to create their own subreddits and moderate their own subreddits about anything whatsoever, even morally abhorrent and repugnant and sometimes illegal subreddits, which they were happy to hide behind and say it was a free speech issue. And people were like, okay, well, I can go there. But people have a variety of interests. So, I might be interested in sports, politics, esports, whatever. Now, do I want to have to remember a login for every particular website about all of my things? And, oh, God, I've forgotten it. And I cleared my cache. And now I got to remember what my dog was called when I was 4. And it's a fucking ball ache, right? So people love Reddit because I can create one account. I can talk about multiple things. I only ever need to log in once, save that password, and that's it. I'm good to go for every forum discussion I ever want to have. Now, the upshot of that was that people stopped visiting homepages, and the assumption rapidly became that if your content wasn't on Reddit, then there was nothing good on your website. It just, you mustn't have published anything good that day. But unfortunately, that isn't the case. But people don't visit your homepage to find it. And then and Reddit absolutely crushed all of the conventional esports websites. They absolutely did. Everyone went through that, fuck me, how do we get ahead of this Reddit curve phase, right? And they were absolutely unapologetic about it. They were like, well,